Good morning. Welcome back to Daybreak on this 12th day of January 2022, the day that we are taking a look at 2021 rather, not 22. I think I've already gone to the election here. My name is Sam Gituku, and I'll shortly be introducing the panel of the guests that we've invited who are here to take a look at the latest in the world of politics, as well as the corridors of justice, as we take a look at the legacy of Chief Justice David Maraga, but also what succession race it will be. And I want us to begin by taking a look at what has been informing conversations from the weekend until yesterday. That is the conversation around the building bridges, the state of politics in central Kenya, but also the conversation around whether it's time for a different community at the presidency, or those are just some ideologies that should not be considered in the succession race. To introduce the panelists, we have Dunstan Omari joining us by way of Skype. He's an advocate of the High Court. Good morning, Wakili, and Happy New Year.
Good morning. How are you, Sam, and your citizens? Good morning.
We are well. Thank you so much for making time for us. And we also have in studio former Deputy Governor of Nairobi, Jonathan Mweke. Good morning.
Good morning.
Maybe you're a future one, I don't know. Then you have former Speaker Nairobi County, that is Beatrice Elachi. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante, good morning.
Good morning. And of course, let's begin by listening to what Raila Odinga spoke about yesterday when he called a press conference, and he was addressing different matters, including what has caused a storm in the politics world, with President Uhuru Kenyatta saying that maybe it's time that another community takes over the presidency, but William Ruto, the deputy president, says that that should not even be a consideration. We should be talking about political ideologies. Listen.
Kenya is a multi-ethnic society, and because of this, we must be actually sensitive to the ethnic differences that we have in our country. In a place like in Switzerland, they have even what they call the rotating presidency. In the United States, if you're running as a president, then a president must come from another region, and so on. So different countries have dealt with this issue differently.
All right, and let me begin with you, former Speaker Beatrice Elachi, because of course you've been listening to the different leaders talking about this. And yesterday we made some progress in understanding what the issue is, but do you think it should be a factor in politics, despite the realities that we see when it comes to coalition or alliances formation in this country between different political factions?
Well, first of all, in reality, let us say that it's very unfortunate in what we see that pulls all this, because of what is happening in Central. Then you find the restlessness that is there. But you see, one of the things when you look at the attributes of Mwai Kibaki and former Vice President Kalonzo, see, it was very different. And I think Kalonzo gave Kibaki a very easy way of handling all this and handing over in a manner where the Central was not very restless as it is today. So it's very unfortunate on the Jubilee government, but having said that, it will be very difficult also in reality to say that because we have many tribes, until you realize in Kenya, what we normally do is we look at the different, where the numbers are coming from. And therefore, Central Province will always be a factor in the politics of Kenya, whether you want to. So it is how you negotiate and come up with a package that says, fine, Central Province now has agreed, we'll work with others to move to, or Kenyans are very interesting. They can also gang up on a different way. You'll find the regions, and you remember at one point, we were in a very tight situation where they were saying there is this. Again, so let's not go back to those against, I don't know what. Let us just see the country and agree, yes, we need to see other tribes also being able to come and just lead the country. And when we say that, we are not saying it in a way that affects these others. No, we are saying work together and ensure all of you that inclusivity. And that is why this BBI comes in and helps them to see that inclusivity, so that you don't start now telling us the same way you've been telling us about dynasties and hustlers. is it is the same thing. But then when you look at America, I think the politics in the world, Sam, turns around to just look the same. Because in America, you find yourselves fighting on blacks, supremacy, white supremacy, you know, and still we have those who feel they have not seen their rights done. So it's not just in Kenya. I think it's something that we as governments come out, they need to start addressing a few things so that if you have strong institutions, and to be honest, as much as we see America the way it is, let us appreciate they have very strong institutions.
Right.
Because if it was Africa, today it will not be breathing the way it is breathing. So strong institutions support you to kill this notion of saying, when Mweke takes over the country, then we feel sort of. And I think in devolution, it will help Kenya to also come up in a way they will realize, as long as you have a president who can take care of what we have agreed and devolution works for these counties, I don't think we'll have that fight. So it's something we need to work on, and we need to start working on it as we move on to 2022.
Let me go to Wakili Dunstan first. And Wakili, so by next year, for 59 years, only 2 communities will have had a clinch at the presidency. Never mind that there will have been 4 presidents. Should it narrow down or boil down to the consideration of what tribe they came from? What should be the reality that you are looking at as a serious nation that strives to get to the civilized level?
Thank you, Sam. My question is, in country acknowledging those principle constitutionalism, following democratic way of governing this country. Surprisingly, Kenya wants to have a mongrel and a definition of democracy that does not exist. You've seen in the BBI, you are being told that you must include, there should be no winner, no take. That is not democracy as it's known. It is either Biden or Trump, and that is the principle of democracy. The majority votes, and the majority will form government. So therefore, the question that two tribes have been forming government is purely the Kenyans who have decided that way. They have an option to elect the person they choose. If the person they choose is a person who is good in dancing, then let it be, because it is them who want the way to be governed. Nobody can prescribe what Kenyans want or who Kenyans want to be their leader. For example, when I heard the right Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, saying that in Sweden there is a rotation of presidents. In Kenya, then we have 46 tribes, the last one being the Zambian citizens that were given citizenship in this country. Are we going to have rotation of presidency for 47 tribes? Even that shall not apply to the president. Something could make sense. The narrative, Sam, is that politicians, the Raila, the President Uhuru Kenyatta, the William Ruto, are only shepherding Kenyans to a situation where they feel they are very comfortable. Let us, and I agree with Elachi, Speaker Elachi, let us develop our democracy based on the rule of law, based on the Constitution of 2010. These narratives of BBI is a waste of time. They are things meant to win Kenyans to achieve a certain political interest come 2022.
Okay, Dunstan Murray says that the BBI is a waste of time. It's not going to cure the problems that we have. But former Deputy Governor, I don't know where you stand on the matters BBI, but if you had to specifically focus on the question of ethnicity and how our politics are, Omari says that it is Kenyans who decide who will be president. Is it true? Is it fair to say so? Because we see the politicians coalescing around each other, making their arithmetic considerations based on ethnic numbers. Then they come to Kenyans and tell them, this is our winning formula. Are we limiting Kenyans on how many options they have?
I don't think we are. But I think this whole tribal equation thing that's been touted the last few days is completely out of line. It's not a tribe that does the work. It's a person that does the work. And I think what we need to be focused on as Kenyans is who can do the work. We need to be focused on what are the real problems that are facing our society. Right now, we are in an economic crisis. Right now, we are in a health crisis. There's COVID and people dying every day of COVID. Doctors are on strike. We don't have medicines in hospitals. I think what we need is a leader who can provide those services, who can build the infrastructure so that our businesses can thrive. And that leader can come from any tribe. And that's what devolution was supposed to cure. We have 47 regional governments that are allocated resources, and at the very civic and basic level, they're supposed to provide those services so that every community feels that they're Kenyans. So I think that we've really abused this word inclusivity. Inclusivity doesn't mean my tribe is included. Inclusivity means, can we have equal opportunities for everybody, no matter your age, no matter your tribe, no matter your sex, no matter your religion or gender, yeah? Equal opportunities to education. Can everybody's child go to school, no matter what tribe they are? Equal opportunities to jobs and to wealth, equal distribution of wealth. We need equal opportunities for people who are sick to be able to go to hospital. Equal opportunities for people to do business. It has nothing to do with tribe. And we'll have reached somewhere as a country where we just care about what gets done and not about what tribe is the person who's leading.
And is
so
there any...
I wouldn't mind myself
as
a Kenyan, even if you have one tribe leading Kenya for the next 100 years, but all children can go to school, every youth can have a job, everybody who's sick can go to hospital and get medicine and healthcare, and we can all have money in our pockets. I think that's what matters to Kenya.
Is there evidence suggesting that we're not having equal opportunity, and the reason is the person in power is favoring their side? Have you seen any evidence, whether historically or even currently?
I don't think so. I mean, let's look at the president brought up the Kikuyus the other day. Yes, they might have led for the majority of the time, but have you sat down to think how many poor Kikuyus are there? When you go right now to hospital and you're lining up at Kenyatta because of lack of beds, yeah, the president is Kikuyu. I can bet you'll find Kikuyus also lining up, also dying because of lack of healthcare. If you look at the people today who are dying because of COVID, do a census, you'll find Kikuyus, but we have a Kikuyu president. So I don't think there's any evidence that really we should have a rotational presidency. It doesn't matter your competency, it doesn't matter your abilities, it doesn't matter on what your ideas are to fix Kenya. It only matters that you are from a certain tribe. I completely disagree with that. I think we should look at Kenya for what Kenya needs. And right now, Kenya needs somebody who can come and lift their economy, who can come and put money in people's pockets, who can come and ensure children can go to school so that we secure a better future for the next generation. I think that's what we need. And if we start saying that next president should come from this tribe because the other tribe has, I mean, it's like saying Kalenjins have been dominating athletics since 1960, so let another tribe start running. It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they're more talented.
Or like saying the Luos have been cooking fish for too long, let another tribe start cooking fish. It doesn't make any sense.
If athletics is about talent, are you saying that the communities that have been at the presidency have a talent to be so?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that politics is a game of numbers, and the most populous communities have been electing a president from their communities. We've had some that have done very well. We've had some that have done very bad. And so it doesn't matter about tribe. What I'm saying, it matters about ability. And I don't think it has anything at all to do with tribe. And again, I said, Constitution 2010, devolution was supposed to cure all of that. Devolution was supposed to make sure that there's equal opportunity for every region. We have institutions that allocate money to all the counties, no matter what tribe they are. And that's how we are supposed to progress as Kenyans. So my thing here is inclusivity is about equal opportunities. It's about equal distribution of wealth, equal opportunity for privilege, yeah, and it should have nothing to do with tribe.
Speaker Elachi,
Yes.
Is the former DG being too ambitious to say that all we need are consideration of this, the things that make sense, yet when it comes to politics, we don't see a lot of those. We actually see the arithmetic considerations and people trying to craft a winning formula, and we'll see that in 2022.
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, we're already seeing it. And therefore, you know, okay, I as a Lachi would always like being, look at reality. Yeah, I don't like, these things of quoting Kenya is what is taking us to this debt. We like quoting our country and not just saying what is there. And therefore, people to know whether it is right or wrong. One of the things in, not just in Kenya, let's say in the whole of Africa, how we play our politics, we look at the numbers, how to win. That one is real. Now, let us come to our president now, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. To be very, very honest, he is one person who has really tried to play and to ensure you try and put Kenya where, you know, bring in everyone to work together. That one he has tried. Fine. In between, we have you find now the people who will let you down. I've always said, you now look at the next cadre and ask yourself, how are they performing? I will tell you they are performing very badly because they are the ones who bring in all these challenges we are talking about. So you're told to recruit, and then when you bring your list is just full of, and it's not just it won't be just the Kikuyus. Let's be honest. All of us do it. All of us do it. That when I am in a position, I will always look at my tribe. I mean, let's not run away from that. It is something that we have to work around and start appreciating that inclusivity my deputy governor is talking about. That yes, but it is not. So going forward, are we able? It is a question. Let us look at how we've come to start the evolution. We will blame everyone, but look at the governors we gave the first chance to start the evolution. Did they? You go to their counties, you'll be shocked. 30%, we talked about it. When somebody tells me now, we are implementing the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we could not implement it in devolution. No governor was able to bring in another tribe, very few, and not the 30% we said in that constitution, that you can employ in your county for purposes of working, so that that cohesiveness can be for Kenya. They didn't do it. I think Nairobi, they had no chance because they came in and find a huge team already. They didn't know, do we remove them? So we cannot blame Nairobi. But the other counties that were starting, honestly, they had a chance to just show us Kenya can be one. Anyone, 30% we can get for employment in any of those counties. You go today, we are not. That is why we are becoming more tribal, more tribal. Then we come at the top, and now we want inclusivity. But in the 47, we keep quiet. I think as Kenyans, let us start at the counties so that you know when the president is coming from another tribe, all those tribes are somewhere working in the counties. And people are appreciating, I have a Kikuyu, I have a Kamba, I have this in Kakamega. Therefore, if I see a Luya becoming, it's because we are all one. Okay. And therefore, he will go into that tribe knowing very well, I can say, Ujue Nyumbani, I have this. I have your people. We live with your people. Fine, you'll find that happening. But it is something we must do it as per the Constitution. Why I talk about and say, indeed, and I know people will say, oh, yeah, Kenyans, is it when we are knowing about this debt? In 2013 in the Senate, we fought of this debt. We fought with Billy Okero when we were in the Finance Committee. And we told our brothers in the National Assembly, Kenya is going to hurt the moment we agree to open the ceilings. Let us be very tough to government at that time and tell them to work the way President Kibaki tried his best. Take one loan, do your project, finalize, or take the loans you want to spend and see you're spending them correctly on the projects that need to be spent off. But you find we went and we took loans. If you ask today, how many loans do we have? How many have we spent in the right way? And how many we have not spent, but we are about to now get? Can we stop the ones that we have not spent? and start thinking of how to deal with the ones we have.
Okay.
Have they done their projects? And how are we going now forward to clean? And can we look for soft loans that are more better with a lower percentage, start paying off these commercial loans, and then you see how to move on. I think it is important.
Okay, all right. And I want us to listen to Senator Irungu Kang'ata, who spoke yesterday, of course, after causing a storm for more than a week when he wrote to the president. Of course, we had the president at the funeral of Mama Hannah Mudavadi over the weekend, saying that he is in charge and does not need any letters or lectures to him. But the senator of Maraga responded yesterday with this.
I cannot enter into an arena of fighting with my boss, but I only strongly believe it is important as political leaders to say the truth, to report the truth, and to be honest and candid in our endeavor when it comes to matters like this one, which has potentiality to embarrass the government. BBI can fail in Mount Kenya and it get endorsed in other regions.
So that's the senator. And Dunstan Omari, you said a few things that would not be very popular with the BBI proponents, but be it as it may. So we are now looking at the storm that is coming from that region, the BBI popularity crisis that it faces. What would you think is the best way out of this? I'm cautious asking you this question because already you've said that it's a waste of time, but how else can it be handled, bearing in mind that it appears like a project or a program that the president and the former prime minister are really keen on having passed through?
Sam, my take is so simple. Senator Irungu Kang'ata, or Daktari Irungu Kang'ata, has put it very clearly. He has understood his people. Let us do a postmortem of who the Mount Kenya regions are. These are people who are 99% business-oriented, investors. They do their businesses. They are not guys who will always believe for handouts. When you look at the economy of the Mount Kenya region during the Kibaki time, during the Moi time, the economy was completely destroyed. When Kibaki came in, the economy of the Mount Kenya region flourished. Everybody had a job for themselves. Exports were coming from Mount Kenya. There was a lot of business in Mount Kenya, and there was money, and everybody was happy. Come President Uhuru Kenyatta's time, a son of the soil, that economy has completely been destroyed. Nothing, everything is Chinese. Any simple thing being done in Mount Kenya region is being done by the Chinese. That is the type of questions Irungu Kang'ata was asked by his people. What are you telling us about a referendum when the money that is going to be used for that referendum could have been used to resuscitate the economy of Mount Kenya region? Number two, when you look at the effect of COVID on business, the effect of COVID on medical facilities, the effect of COVID on private schools, which are owned by 80% people from Mount Kenya, it is total disaster. So the questions the people of the Mount Kenya region are asking, are they going to continue admiring the snow on Mount Kenya without food on the table? And that is why Irungu Kang'ata resonates very well with those people. I'm not saying that the proposals in the BBI are bad, Sam. All I'm saying, the timing. Remember, politics and in life, the question of timing is very, very fundamental. If nobody listens to the timing, if anybody does not listen to that, then that is the issue. Lastly, if you look at the situation as it is now, parents were told to take their kids to school. They have taken their kids to school and with a promise that none of the kids will be chased out of school. Is that the true position? All the kids who went to school without school fees are at home. Then the narrative that Mount Kenya needs to be understood is the narrative of how have they been tailored? How have Mount Kenya regions been socialized in relation to the right Prime Minister, Raila Odinga? Several stories, stereotypes have been created of who the right Prime Minister is about.
But Dunstan Omari, Let's not drift from the topic, which is BBI and the Mount Kenya region. If you are to look at, because you're saying that the timing is questionable, I'm just wondering what's the right time, at a time that you see 84% of Kenyans are still not familiar with the BBI, and this is not just in central Kenya, but across the country. So are we dealing with an ignorant populace, or are we dealing with a political class that is not willing to communicate to their voters on what exactly they are doing?
Sam, what is true is that the Tanga group, the William Ruto group, took advantage to put propaganda that made people have misinformation of what the BBI is. The Kieleweke team never realized that the message that lands first shapes the opinion of everybody. The lady you want to seduce, you must borrow a suit, so that with that suit you use it to convince that lady. I had to borrow a suit to come and appear on Citizen TV so that I can look presentable. Tanga have made misinformation, and that misinformation seems to have captured the ground. I refer this to the referendum of 2005 or 2006, the Wako draft, how it lost traction with the citizens. The misinformation that went out made people don't trust the document. That is the situation we are in. Number two, we are saying, Sam, you just told us just now, Kenya has gone to beg to be released from paying taxes, paying loans for 6 months. Those loans the restructuring of our loans, those loans, and Speaker Elachi has put it very clearly, those loans have a lot of interest. Are we going to continue begging so that we restructure our loans, our international obligation, so that we get more money to take to a political process? And that is why the Mount Kenya people who are more business-oriented, who are more profit-oriented, who are more looking at the bottom line, are rejecting this thing and saying, let it wait. For now, let us revive the economy.
Okay.
The CS for Treasury, lastly, the CS for Treasury, for the first time has admitted, we do not have money. Oparanya, the chair of governors, has also said, they have never received money. Their disbursements for 3 months. Where are we? Are we getting our priorities right?
Okay.
Or we are simply not following our priorities?
Well, Justice Ramare, I saw another press release from the National Treasury sent by the Cabinet Secretary saying that Kenya is not broke and Kenya continues to honor its debt obligations. But as you said, that the CS has admitted that we don't have money. But Honorable Mweke, so when you look at all this conversation, and I want to specifically, I don't know your stand because you're yet to state it on the BBI proposals and the process that is there. But 32% of Kenyans say they will vote against BBI, while 29% would support the BBI. If only 29% would support it, then it means there's a chance that 71% may vote against it if nothing is done. What do you think needs to be done in the meantime for a country that has spent so much time on such a process?
My problem with the BBI is misplaced priorities. And I have three very fundamental problems with the BBI. The first problem is we are amending Constitution 2010. But for some reason, we have refused to implement fully Constitution 2010. Specifically, Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. It is the most abused chapter in our Constitution 2010. We disobey court orders. You saw the CJ advised the president as per our Constitution to dissolve Parliament. Wasn't done. You're seeing what's happening now in Nairobi. I mean, the Constitution is very clear that if there's no governor, there's no deputy governor, the speaker shall take over, which he has, for 60 days, then we shall go to an election. We are seeing them trying to bring in somebody through the back door. So you're mutilating a constitution that's working for us, and then you're saying you want to change it so it can be better. And my thinking is, even if you go through BBI, you've gone through the process, you've spent 14 or 22 billion shillings, whatever it is, you get BBI in, and once it's in, the same people who mutilate Constitution 2010 are the same people who will go against the rule of law, and everything that is in BBI that's progressive, they'll refuse to do. The same people, if you say counties will get 35%, they'll wake up one day and say, no, we don't feel like counties can get 5%. They are doing it now, Sam. Why don't you think they'll do it then? My second problem with BBI is it does not capture the mood of our country. And this is to answer the question you asked Wakili Danson or Mari.
Dunstan.
Yeah? Why is it that people are not interested in BBI? I don't even know what BBI is about. It's because that's not their problem right now. The problem we have as Kenyans right now is we're in an economic crisis. People are poor. Businesses have collapsed. People have lost their jobs. There's COVID-19 that is killing. It's a pandemic globally. It's killing our countrymen and countrywomen. We have children who are learning under trees in 2020. We have debt that has spiraled out. It has killed the dollar, so it has messed up anybody who's trying to export things or import things. So we have so many problems that are affecting our daily lives that when you prioritize BBI in the normal Kenyan's life, they're just worried is, can my kid go to school? And when they go to school, will they get sick? Will we have something to eat? Will I have my job tomorrow? That's what Kenyans are worried about. They're not worried about, let's change the constitution to give people jobs for prime ministers and deputy prime ministers, because that's what BBI is about. They're saying inclusivity, let's add more MPs, let's double the senators, let's give people prime ministers and deputy prime ministers because they're from certain tribes, and Kenyans are not interested in that. And my third problem with BBI is the timing. We've got so
what's the right
many
time, in your view?
Yeah, we've got so many other priorities right now. I mean, if you have 14 billion
So what
shillings,
would be the right time?
are you, well, the right time is after you've taken care of the basics. I had somebody make a joke yesterday saying BBI is like you buying a big TV for your children, then telling them, watch the food channel and you'll get full while they don't have food. Yeah. So BBI is you're going to tell somebody, hey, let's include your tribe into something that we don't know about, but you're hungry, you don't have a job, you're sick, you're about to die. I mean, the priorities are just wrong. So I think the timing for BBI should be, one, once we fix the basic problems of our country, number one being economic. Two is once we ensure our healthcare systems work. Three, when our children can go to school properly and have equal opportunity for every child from every background, from every school to be able to go to school and secure their future. And number four, lastly, when we fully implement Constitution 2010, why change something that you have not even implemented in the first place? Once you do those things first, then now you can go and do BBI.
All right, I want us to take a short break because when we come back, we'll be speaking about the legacy of Chief Justice David Maraga, who retired last night. But as we do so, let's take a break by listening to what he said to his family for having been at the helm of the judiciary for 4 years.
My dear wife and children and my family and friends, you bore the brunt of the attacks and the threats against me. I sincerely thank you, and I'm not taking that for granted.